Welcome to the chat where the deals get done. Real estate tips and a whole lot of fun. Think different, achieve your goals. Real estate simplified, that's how we roll.
Hi there, Mike Cruz with Reside Real Estate, here with Brandon Rizek.
What's up?
Today, we are just going to let it roll.
We're letting it roll.
No specific topic, but we're going to just talk about real estate and everything that's happening.
Not scripted, so we're doing a show about nothing.
There we go.
I like that, a show about nothing. So for all you Seinfeld fans.
Right.
So, no, thank you, Mike. Glad to keep doing this. You know, when Mike and I prepare for these, you know, we always try to have some kind of topic, and we always try to get feedback from people and hear maybe what's happening in the market and everything. But you know, this time we just decided to let it go because sometimes the conversation flows better, in just our opinion. And you know, Mike, I just want to ask you, where do you think we're heading? Las Vegas specifically. I'm not talking about nationally or statistics. I want to talk about this area. Where's our real estate heading?
You know,
Honest opinion.
I really think we're in a period of stability. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe, and that's probably for the next 6 to 9 months. And I think after that, I think we're going to start ramping up again as far as prices go. I don't know if you saw in the news, but Warren Buffett's company just bought
Berkshire Hathaway's
a huge amount of builder stock, Lennar and D.R. Horton both.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely poised for a building boom at some point here is what that tells me. I know he holds for the long term, so I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. But I think over the next year or so, we're going to really start to see a little bit more of a building boom across the whole country.
Wow. You know, and a lot of people are very negative right now. In fact, I've had many conversations with clients, and you know, a lot of people think it's going to crash. I don't. I don't, but you know, a lot of people are saying that. They're saying, oh, tourism's down and everything's down in Vegas and it's going to fall apart and rates are staying high and values haven't gone down. Nobody can afford it. Is that really true?
But a lot of these people, they're the same ones that were sitting here in 2020 in the middle of COVID saying, oh my gosh, the market's going to crash.
Right.
Well, what happened then? Our prices right now here in Las Vegas are 45% more than what they were on March 18th, 2020, when the economy basically was stopped.
45%?
45% higher.
As an average.
Right.
Wow, I didn't know that was that. I thought I would have guessed like 20. I didn't know 45.
No, it's 45.
And that's why people say it's going to crash, though. But I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Let's step there. I don't agree with it, but this is why. People just say people can't afford it.
Well, there is an affordability issue. I don't think we can argue that point. And that's not a Las Vegas problem. That's a nationwide problem. When you hear all these economists, national economists talking, one of their biggest things is affordability has become a real issue. But with that said, I saw yesterday that the cost of building materials are up 4.5% year over year. So the builders really can't afford to drop prices.
No, and they won't.
Right.
They'll hold. They have the financial stability in my eyes to hold, but then again, you know, what do I know? But you know, I think a lot of it's rate driven, you know, as far as the buyers coming into the market. But you know, rates aren't everything.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of the market, don't get me wrong, and everybody wants to hear about rates, and we all really have this idea that they're coming down eventually. You know, the question is when, whatever, but I think it's more to it. That's why I say, you know, just for this market, not on a national scale, because it still feeds off of California.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you know, what was the stat we read? 42% of our buying, of our home buyers is from California. Is that
correct?
Is that right?
Yeah, 40 to about 50%.
Oh, 40 to 60%. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So just that 40 to 60%. That's depending on the neighborhood. Some areas are 40, some areas are 60. But the bottom line is, people are still moving here, and they're not just coming from California. They're coming from all over. They're coming from Washington, Oregon, a lot of people from Chicago.
Chicago.
Yes.
Oh, they're getting away from the taxes. Illinois taxes are awful.
Yeah. I had a client recently, their property taxes on a condo, like a small condo, were like $8,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can get a really nice house for $8,000 a year. And I mean, when I say really nice, millions.
Right.
You know, as far as where it's going, man, investors are back. Builders are still high on their price.
Right.
They're offering incentives, but they're high. You know, whenever I see investors make up higher than 20% of our market, I know that a good market's usually coming.
Right.
This is just what I've experienced over the 23 years I've been doing this.
Uh-huh.
Not a lifetime, but long enough. This is what I've experienced. Anytime that we've seen a dip in the market, when investors come back, the next step is the buyers are late.
Funny story this morning. As a real estate agent, I get text messages all day long from, we're going to call them house flippers, but basically people that want to buy junk houses for bottom dollar, flip them and resell them, or sometimes they'll hold on to them, rent them out. Either way, they're investors. So I get at least 7 or 8 texts every single day. I got 4 or 5 this morning, and it was the 5th or 6th one said, we're the only investors still buying. I said, no, you're not. Try telling that to the 6 guys that already texted me this morning.
We're the only ones still buying. Yeah. We'll pay you top dollar, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Change your sales pitch, bud.
Right. Yeah, you're a little late to the party.
No, they're buying. I get calls from all the time, the loans, everything, and people are still putting money down. So it tells me that it's stable. The seller, everybody thinks the crash is coming because the amount of listings that are out there and all these things. No, these people generally don't need to sell. It's a want, so they're not going to take it in their shorts.
Right.
Or for, to be more specific, they're not going to just drop their price $50,000 because you're a buyer and they're desperate. They're not desperate. Their mortgage payment's probably $1,800.
Right.
It's not less than $2,000. They could rent it out. They could keep it, or they just may want to cash out and buy another house. This is why everybody thinks it's going to crash, but it's not going to. I just don't see it.
Right. Well, here's another stat I saw earlier this week. It said foreclosures here in Clark County are up 50%.
50% from what?
Well, and that's the whole thing, is the foreclosure rate has been so low here that a 50% increase could be 4 or 5 homes in the whole county. Literally.
I don't,
So take it with a grain of salt. That statistic, the number of foreclosures right now, as of today, are still about 10% what they were back in early 2019.
With everything that's happening, I think that foreclosures are probably the last on my list.
Right.
To be very honest with you, I have seen banks work with buyers before it even gets close to that. I know somebody that was behind on their mortgage 4 or 5 months.
Well, right.
And they ended up working with that consumer. I mean, this would have never happened in the past.
Well,
they don't want your house back.
And people say that it's going to be 2009 all over again. This is where they're totally wrong.
People have equity. They're not going to just let it go.
People and businesses learned from that. The banks don't want to take over houses anymore.
Costs them too much money.
Right.
They're not in the,
And
let me stop you.
Uh-huh.
Save your and, remember your and. Banks are not in the real estate business. People don't get that. They don't want your house. It costs them so much money to get your house and then to sell it and do all that and the legal fees and everything. They don't want your house. They want your interest.
Right.
That's it. I'm sorry.
So, and these homeowners, they don't want to be foreclosed on. They're going to do everything they can to make that payment because they're, at worst case scenario, in most cases, unless they just bought in the last year and a half, their interest rate's below 5%. Their payment is way less than what they could go rent something for.
But wait a minute. If you bought before 2020, and this is just since 2020, because Mike just said this, 42% appreciation since then. So if you bought your house in 2016, and you have a 4% or a 3% or even 2s interest rate, you're behind in your payment, you're not going to just let that house go. You've got hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting there. You could put it up for sale sign.
Well, right. You can sell, and
why would you?
And you say they might have 4 or 5% interest. There's a good chance they refinanced at the end of 2020, and they're 2.75.
Or even in the 2s or 3s, right?
Yeah.
You know, so people, guys, wake up. It's not happening. I don't see it. It would take a catastrophe for that to happen, and I don't put it that past the world, but if that's the case, how do you live your life based on that? You can't live your life in fear. And in today's world, it is tough out there, there's no question, but I don't see Las Vegas real estate crashing at all.
Right.
I think it's actually, we have seen rates over double, and for a long period of time, longer period than anybody expected, and the value's held.
Right.
If that is pretty bad in the big scheme of things with the way things have gone. Mm-hmm. And it's still held. So what's going to happen when rates go down? I mean, it's just going to get better and better and better.
The prices are going to build back up.
Build back up. So even if prices build back up, we're still cheaper than California, cheaper than a lot of Washington. We're cheaper than Seattle area, New York, all those places. So it's still very affordable. And even if your house isn't that much cheaper, your taxes are.
Right.
Your cost of living should be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't see it. I just don't see a crash coming, guys. I actually think it's going to do the exact opposite.
I wholeheartedly agree. So, and especially since COVID, we've seen the influx with people that work at home. Mm-hmm. And they're bringing their wage that they were making in California, they're keeping that, working remotely. And it's helped keep prices up.
Instead of a 1,200 square foot house built in the 50s, they have now a 3,500 square foot house with a pool built 20 years ago.
Right.
For the same price.
Yeah.
Maybe less. Maybe even less, depending on where they're from.
Yeah. The bottom line is, I don't see a crash coming at all. And if you have been on the sidelines waiting to buy, we said this in the last podcast, now is the time. Rates are down a little bit. They're in the low sixes. Mm-hmm. So
the rates are, go get a seller credit, keep the value, go get the seller credit, buy your rate down to 5.8. Wow. Right. I mean, if you can't stomach a 5-point-something rate, you're in trouble. You really are in trouble.
Right.
Okay, so now let's talk about affordability, being in trouble, whatever it is. So this is another reason why I still think we're okay. Now, Vegas is, quote unquote, less affordable than it was. I still think it's a very affordable place to live. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people moved outside of Vegas into surrounding communities. And I'm going to name one in specific. It's Pahrump.
Yes.
Now, for many viewers that may not know about this, if you're new to the area or you're from a different state, Pahrump is a very small town. It's not so small anymore, but it's a small town about 45 minutes outside of Vegas.
Right.
Okay, and a lot of people have moved there because for $300,000 there, you're getting much more for your money. What's your opinion on that?
So Pahrump, it's a unique place.
Very unique. Very unique.
It is definitely still a small town. I think they only have one traffic light. They
have more than one traffic light.
They might have two now. No, seriously.
Stop.
When's the last time you were out there?
Last year.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay, I was too. I think they have one traffic light.
All right, what?
They might have 2 or 3.
He's painting a picture that's not real. You see houses
they do
everywhere
have a
when you
Walmart.
drive
They do have a
through.
Home Depot.
They have casinos. They have a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, it's not there. I believe the population's somewhere around
just over 35,000.
35,000.
That was a big deal. So in the lending world, we have what's called rural loans. It's a USDA loan. You get a zero down loan without being a veteran, and it's a USDA loan. It's a rural loan. Well, Pahrump is no longer in the parameter of USDA financing, which is no longer rural.
Yeah.
Which, if you know anything about Vegas or you've been here for some time, I'm astonished by hearing that, because Pahrump is as rural as it used to be.
Right.
And it is no longer that. So they have over 35,000 people there.
They do. They have their first master plan community, Mountain Falls. Mm-hmm. It's been going for about 10 years, maybe even a little bit longer. Beautiful golf course out there. They have, it's definitely a growing, bustling community. I believe their first hospital is in the blueprint phase, getting ready to break ground on that. There's about 400 homes out there currently for sale. I can tell you 90% of them are single stories. If you listen to a few podcasts back, we did talk about that a little bit. But and if you're looking for a bigger lot, half acre or an acre, there's plenty to choose from out there.
You know, the point is that even if Vegas is becoming somewhat unaffordable, there are other options.
Absolutely.
There are other options. And now you would have to want to live there, and a lot of people love it there.
Right.
A lot of people don't. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. But the point is that even though prices are up, we're still growing, and I still consider Pahrump like a suburb of Vegas.
It definitely
is.
is.
Still growing,
Yeah.
and it's growing fast. Let's compare. We always compare to California. So, Las Vegas is California's redheaded stepchild, right? The black sheep move here, right? But it's not that anymore. That's the point. Is that people are realizing we're a real city now. There's almost 3 million people. There's 2.5 million
Right.
people here. Maybe you.
It's getting close to 3 million.
It's getting close to 3 million here. We have sports. We have buildings. We have a downtown. We have cities. We have amenities. We have it's not just casinos anymore.
Right.
And I want to get to that in a second because I think we don't talk enough about how Vegas is not Sin City that it used to be.
Right. Yeah.
But the point is where you're from in California, on average, this is where I have my 42 mixed up. So on average, Las Vegas is 42% cheaper on buying than it is in California.
Right.
Like for like.
Yeah.
So that is a big number.
And if you go into, say, the Bay Area or the suburbs of
70,
LA,
right? It could be 60,
it could be a
70%.
much bigger difference.
Right. Huge.
Yeah.
And even we had a podcast recently about renting. Rents were 24% cheaper here
Right.
than they were in California. So even if you can't afford to buy,
Yeah.
rents are still cheaper. You get a lot more for your money.
Right.
I could see LA crashing faster than I see Vegas crashing.
Just this morning, I saw a video on Facebook because I'm in real estate. All the real estate videos from all over the country come through my Facebook feed. But this was specifically for a one-bedroom rental in Brooklyn. It was a nice one-bedroom, but it was tiny. It couldn't have been more than 500 square feet. $3,200 a month
For a closet.
They literally said the bedroom was
garage.
was a large closet.
For a garage.
Yeah.
It's a 2-car garage, right? About right for the square footage.
Yeah. It's nuts.
That's insane. And I just don't know why. And then you have your tax structures there.
Right.
Why? So you could say you live in the city? God bless you. You can live in the city all you want. I'll take my quality of life.
Right.
But that's just me. But let's talk about, for anybody who's not from here or just moving here, anybody from California. So I really want to discuss this because a lot of people don't know what Vegas has become. Mm-hmm. It's a city.
It is.
Henderson, for years, I don't know if it's still there, it was rated the 3rd safest city in the country. Now we're talking about Sin City, right, Mike?
Right.
Sin City, that everybody just doesn't want their business here. They don't want to move here. They don't want to raise their children. Henderson, Nevada, which is, you hit a golf ball, you're in Las
Yeah.
Vegas. I mean, it's right there. It's basically one and the same. Was the 3rd safest city in the country
Right.
per capita.
Yeah. I remember back in the early 1990s or late 80s when Citibank moved here to their credit card processing plant. They moved right up off Sahara and Fort Apache. And they insisted with the city of Las Vegas that they had their own zip code and people did not mail their credit card payments to Las Vegas.
See, I mean, but
So
come
it was
on.
Citibank. All you had to do was address your credit card payment to Citibank, the Lakes, Nevada.
The Lakes, Nevada. Wow. But
So
it's a different world
times
now.
change. Oh yeah, totally different. The city's grown so much
There
over the
are
years.
parks everywhere. There are walking trails everywhere. There is shopping everywhere. The school systems are getting better. There are private schools. There are charter schools. There
Right.
are magnet schools. That's a thing
Right.
too. Magnet schools are a new thing. New to me, but where they specialize in certain things. Like if your kid wants to be in science, they specialize in science. You know?
Right, well, even colleges. Of course,
Colleges.
we have UNLV, but there's CSN, which is a community college, but they actually have one of the highest ranking nursing programs I've heard in the country, and dental.
It is 100% a town. It is a real city. Now, don't get me wrong. The Strip is the Strip. I mean,
Right.
that's actually, to me, that's the beauty of being here.
Right.
You can pick and choose what you want. You can pick and choose being in Sin City, or you can pick and choose soaking up the sun and laying in your pool.
Yeah.
Or going to the park with your kids.
Right.
You
I
know?
know people that live in San Diego always talk about how they can be up in the mountains in the morning and the beach in the afternoon. It's no different here. You can go skiing here in the morning and be on the
Mandalay
Strip.
Bay.
And
Mandalay Bay at the beach, right?
Yeah, be at Mandalay Bay at the beach and then go see a Cirque show that night. I mean, it's amazing.
I just think the stigma of living here is much. I think it needs to change. I do. I think that it will eventually keep changing, but it is better than what it was. Look at what Citibank had to mail their address
Right.
somewhere else, or name a different
Yeah.
city. But it is changing for people who are questioning it. Please come visit local Vegas. Visit Henderson. Visit Summerlin, Green Valleys, wherever it is. Lake Las Vegas, Inspirados. These neighborhoods, guys, are awesome. They're awesome. I lived in Cleveland, Ohio, which we've touched on before. They have some of the best suburbs in the country, if you ask me, when it comes to wholesomeness and everything, and the middle America small town feel, but you also get the big city. I will tell you that there are times where I think Henderson is better than those suburbs.
Right.
In certain areas.
And only getting better.
Only getting better.
Still
Absolutely.
growing, getting new restaurants at least, seems like every week.
Yeah.
Always something new to do.
Yeah, and you'll never run out of things to do. That
Right.
is another thing. But back to real estate, back to mortgages. On the mortgage side, guys, I really hope Mr. Powell cuts it 50 basis points in September. I think another 50 by the end of the year, possibly 25 towards the end of the year. And then by the time he's replaced in May, I think it's pretty open now that he's going to get replaced. As I've said before, I think the new person will come in with a different alignment.
That's not inside information anymore. That
No,
you have
I don't
that-
think that's inside information. I mean, it's being tweeted all over the
You're
world,
right.
but we won't go there. I do think that person will be on a different path when it comes to rate cutting. I mean, if you look at the rest of the world, the European banks everywhere, their rates are much lower than ours.
Right.
And it's coming our way. So when that happens, again, certain time intervals where when the Fed lowers rates, mortgage rates go up, but overall they will trend down. I don't want to get into that again, but they will trend down with rate decreases in the end. And with that, I think real estate is just good. I don't know if it's going to go nuts, but it's definitely going to go on the upside. No
Right.
question in my
And
mind.
truthfully, we don't need it to go nuts.
I don't want it to go nuts.
A nice, smooth, gentle climb
Yes.
is perfect.
I agree. So now we talked about how listings were higher than ever, but how did the median price go up at that point?
Well, it went down for 1 month and then it went back up.
So listings at an all-time high and it went back up, not down.
Right, and you got to understand, median price, basically half the homes sold higher than that, half the homes sold lower than that. So you get a couple multi-million-dollar homes sold in a month, that can throw the numbers totally out of whack.
Yeah.
Especially when you figure we're averaging around 2,400, 2,500 home sales a month. It doesn't take a lot to really throw that number off. So bottom line, that's where it's at. Also, new home sales. That's been a big factor.
They're smarter than us.
They touched on it. New homes, they're keeping the prices up, but they're offering killer financing deals.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately or unfortunately, there's some deals to be had there.
Builders pay economists a lot of money for their projections. And they are still buying land.
Right.
They are still building. They are still bull on Vegas.
Right.
They know what's coming. Listen, if the builders pull out, we have something to worry about. That is my humble opinion. If they're here buying lots and buying developments and doing this, then we know what's coming. They pay a lot. They pay millions for this information.
It was on the local news here this morning on the south end of, I'm going to say the Strip, but it's actually far south. Down near the South Point, there's the old Paradise Spa. Old rundown condos. They've had multiple fires over the years. The place
sounds like a great place.
Yeah, just horrible. But I heard that land is actually being sold to a home builder.
There you go.
I would have thought it would have been an apartment development, just given the location, but apparently it is a home builder. So,
They're not shy, guys. They're building everywhere. They're converting apartments everywhere. They're building apartments everywhere. They're expecting it, guys, and the job growth will keep coming. I mean, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So I know we're getting redundant at this point, but I'm not saying we're going to have this massive influx of appreciation and all of that, but I do expect the pendulum to swing, as Mike says, and I kind of stole that from you last couple podcasts, but I do think it's swinging towards a seller market, and I don't want to tell everybody buy when the time is right for you. I'm not a pressure kind of guy, but if investors are here doing it and builders are building, wake up.
Now, you see all this stuff out there in the media, on TikTok, YouTube, wherever. Vegas is dead. First, it's just not true. And truthfully, there's some slower points during the week, I think. But a lot of these videos that you're seeing that people are saying are 8 p.m. on Saturday night are actually 3 o'clock Wednesday morning.
Talk to me at the end of September when it's 90 degrees with no humidity.
Well, right.
And you'll see a lot more people here. And who wants to come here when it's 115, other than a 23-year-old that wants to go to a day club? I mean, let's be real.
Right.
I'm sorry, that sounds really bad. I shouldn't, but
I have a good friend. He works at one of the high-end restaurants on the Strip. And he described it to me as it's normal summertime pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So
something we forgot about,
used to always be fairly quiet.
Nobody wants to be here when it's this hot. I have friends that wait till October. In fact, we wanted to get married. My wife and I wanted to get married in July or August, but we couldn't do it because of the heat. We ended up waiting until the end of September to get married, and it still ended up being 105, but that's a whole other topic. But this is our slow season. For you snowbirds, this is our January.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, then there's still plenty of development. Brand new Costco opening tomorrow morning over in Southwest Las Vegas off Buffalo in the 215. Yep.
Stay away from there.
Yo, definitely. The traffic's bad around there already anytime, let alone now that there's going to be a Costco. There's still the, I want to say, health district going in North Las Vegas near the VA hospital. There's going to be a whole nursing school along with another hospital, general hospital, going in up there. Just the development all over this city is continuing like there's no tomorrow. There's just always something opening somewhere and being developed.
Try to get your piece of the pie before it becomes a pie you can't afford, before it becomes California.
I like that.
I really do believe that.
Yeah.
So, guys, everybody, we appreciate the audience. We appreciate everybody, and I appreciate having these chats with you, Mike.
Absolutely.
I love it. If everybody could please like, subscribe, ask questions. You know what? We do have one question that we need to address. I got asked this. I forgot about it. I probably should have asked this 10 minutes ago. Is it better to buy when rates are low, or is it better to buy, when there's more competition?
Right.
Or is it better to buy now when rates are high with a lower price point?
It's definitely better to buy at a lower price, because if rates come down, you can always refinance.
Not always. Please don't say that. Sorry.
You can, in a lot of cases, you can refinance.
In most cases, you can refinance.
You can refinance if it makes sense, obviously. But the bottom line is, if you can afford a home and you want to buy a home, you want to own a home, if you can afford it, go make it happen. Don't wait for somebody's magic pill because your friend that you hang out with on Friday nights is jealous and telling you not to buy a house because they can't afford to buy a house.
We all have to live in our home. But remember one thing, my advice to anybody buying a home, you have to live in it, don't get me wrong, but you have to remember more than anything, it is your investment. And whether you get a low rate, you buy it at a cheaper price, you have to look at it as an investment.
Absolutely.
So if you are getting a low rate, but you're paying $10,000, $20,000 over value, which is better? Higher rate and paying $20,000 under value, or low rate and $20,000 over value?
Exactly.
I would rather pay less for my property and worry about the rate later on, because when I go to sell it, I will net more money.
Bottom line is, you can live in your house and pay your mortgage, or live in somebody else's house and pay their mortgage.
That's a true story.
So with that said, hit that like button, share this out, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you can listen to this anywhere podcasts are available. And be sure and comment. And if you have questions, give us a topic to talk about. And we'll see you next time. We're going to talk about high rises here in Las Vegas.
Ooh, high-rise.
High-rise
That's a good one,
condos.
because I didn't know much about them until recently, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Welcome to the chat where the deals get done. Real estate tips and a whole lot of fun. Think different, achieve your goals. Real estate simplified. That's how we roll.